Howdy, howdy. There we go. Okay, so testing. And now we're making sure that everything's working properly. Good. Okay. So you can see me. Howdy, howdy, everybody. Welcome. This is part of the Frequency of Abundance. It is a group that we have over on LinkedIn. So if you want, go LinkedIn, type in the Frequency of Abundance under groups, and come join us. We picked up a couple new members, and I'm keeping it as a free community for everyone to join. You'll have access to recordings like this that we're doing on a daily basis. So every day was Motivational Mondays, Triumphant Tuesdays, Winning Wednesdays. Today is Thriving Thursdays. So welcome. Tomorrow is going to be a guest speaker. On the weekend, we've got some cool things. I'll talk about that in a minute. This is a special place. We're going through every single possible way, personally and professionally, that we can go through as a group online. And we're looking at the people that are the coaches, the healers, the therapists, the specialists, the business advisors, the financial planners, the subject matter experts. We're also looking at the agency owners, so that if we could help share in any of the collective knowledge and wisdom that we've picked up just working with so many clients over the pandemic and throughout the years and all the crazy stuff that everyone's seen and learned. So in that context, I'll take 30 seconds to introduce myself. If you don't know me, my name's Natan Verhovsky. I've been an elite energy coach for about 30 years now, starting with Olympians, Cirque du Soleil, national sports teams from all over the world. Had about 15,000 people come through my hands. And then after writing a couple best-selling books, COVID hit. And all of a sudden, kind of didn't want to come online and make cat videos like everybody else. So instead, made sure that I opened up a private, not-for-profit, invitation-only educational community. And that was the Essential Academy. And from 2020 to 2024, that was how we gave back. It was a not-for-profit. It was able to help give more to the people that needed it. And then we've changed our business model and adapted to an agency. So now we're able to give one-of-a-kind events, create paid and free communities. Now we're able to do all the neat stuff and really get more eyes on you and the right eyes. So if there's anything I can do to help, you should see my contact info here. I'll pop myself into the chat or reach out to me so you can say hi. There you go. So contact info is there. You can see up. Let's see. We're going to have some fun today. So where we're looking at and where I'm thinking a lot of the cool stuff can come from is on the topic today, setting intentions. I got my Greek mountain tea as usual, ready to go. So when we're setting intentions, and by all means, ask any questions that you want, put them in the chat. We're looking at a system like, let's say we're looking at more energy, more productivity. Then we'd want an equation. So we'd want something plus something equals that. And more of this and more of that would equal more energy or more productivity. So one of the things would have to be your intent, your intention, your desire. That would definitely have to increase. The other one would have to be your intensity, your focus. So that if I increase my desire to do something and I increase my focus while doing it, yeah, chances are my productivity is going to increase on the other side of that equation. No kidding. My energy will definitely go up because of what I'm trying to do. The same way that if I decrease the intention, now I don't desire this or want this as much, and I decrease the intensity, now I'm not really trying very hard. What do you think is going to happen to your energy on the other side of the equation? What do you think is going to happen to your productivity? It's just simple. It's not even math at this point. It's arithmetic. It's some basic 1 + 1 = 2 kind of stuff. So let's look at today. And on another one, we'll talk about intensity. We'll talk about productivity. But today we're talking about setting intention, the first part of that equation. And I think it's an important one to really, really nail down and get right. Now, as we're going through, let's talk about intention. Let's talk about setting the proper methodology so that we can have the proper equation go from increasing intention, increasing desire, plus increasing intensity, increasing focus, equals an increase in energy, productivity. That's the magic equation. We're taking a look at the first part of that today. It's fun to be in the frequency of abundance, not just in the group, but in real life, because everything is just a delight. And if you start feeling that natural energy, it goes beyond happy and it just kind of titillates into joy. And you can look at things in a new eye, those rosy colored glasses. So if we're looking at setting intention, let's take a look at ways to break down the concept, especially if we're looking at doing that to a person you have your own podcast, or if you're, let's say, having a one-on-one with a client, or if you're doing it in a group presentation, that intention needs to be clear. So define your intention versus goals. Intentions are the why behind the action. I need 13 things to happen. Great. Why? What's the intention? So intention is the why behind your actions. And let's take a look at how it's always going to be rooted in mindset and your values. I intend to be more mindful today versus I want to meditate for 10 minutes. Intention is I intend to be more mindful today. Goal is I want to meditate for 10 minutes. There's no intention on that. You just, I want. So when you're setting intention, your biggest benefits are going to be clarity, focus, and alignment with your values. Why are you setting intentions? To get the benefits of clarity, focus, alignment with values. And the role of intentions is going to be in your personal growth. And it can take a part in your decision making. So that if you're looking at doing something and you go back to why behind the action, it may not be in alignment. And then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Kind of a thought there. So setting an intention. What do I value? What do I want to feel today, this week, before the end of this year? Let's simplify it. Let's use actionable, present sense terms. Everything's got to happen in the now. The past doesn't exist, neither does the future. Only the now. So saying something like, I am open to opportunities. That's actionable, and it's present tense. That is a good intention. You can also make sure that you write these down. Some people like journaling. Some people more of a sticky notes kind of a person. Whatever you like to do, the physical act of writing is very different than the physical act of typing or dictating. It's a completely different neural pathway. It reinforces different things. It triggers and activates different things. So it's a completely different process. You should write things down physically. Pen or pencil on paper. Old school. There's a reason. Now, it'll also help with your intention. Writing it out physically, putting it in front of you, being able to see it, much more so. Because again, this is a why. You want to be thinking about the whys behind actions. Just writing out your goals, I will meditate for 10 minutes is great. Put it up that's a reminder. That's all it is. It's a reminder. And I think you're beyond that. I think if you focused on your intention, I think you naturally will gravitate to those thoughts that'll lead you to the right actions that you wanted to do. You won't have to plan it out and think about it, because focus on your intention and why you're doing this. It'll make more sense to you, the doing of this. Let's look at different approaches as well. Sometimes you might have morning rituals. Sometimes you might have a weekly reflection on a day of the week, a Sunday night or something. These are all brilliant ideas. Giving yourself a space, place, a set time where you can focus and talk about these things is so important. So important. So knowing that in their career or in their relationship, or even when it's time for their own self-care, all the people that you know and around you, they're using intention, whether they know it or not, whether you know it or not, because it's linking them to a broader intentions, linking them to their affirmations. It's themes of life areas. So if they're setting intention for their career, they're setting intention for their relationships, they're setting intention for their own self-care. That is a very powerful time. That's why we suggest no distractions, to put your phones away, lock the door, put a little sign that says, please don't disturb. Take that time for yourself. Set that place up for yourself. And then let those intentions flow. There's always going to be your normal challenges and things, as always. So one of the big ones is going to help this out, kind of like this broadcast that we do every day. Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to be here. Weekends, I'll let everyone sleep in a little bit and I'll be here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There'll be guest speakers all the time. If you want to be a guest speaker, reach out to me, say hi, and let's put you on a show. If you want me to create shows for you, reach out. Let's see what we can do and make your own little ecosystem. Now, if we're going to be challenged by intention setting, one of the big ones is not staying consistent. And that's why I just mentioned all that, because it's consistent. And so it's dependable and you can count on it, and it's reliable. And that's important. So staying consistent, use reminders, use some kind of habit stacking, where one thing triggers another and you go, okay, well, if I did this and I did this and I did this, make the bed, brush your teeth, comb your hair. Great, done. Started on one, habit stack it. Another common area, I think, where you're going to get challenged setting intentions might be overthinking or making your intention too complicated, too complex. Focus on simplicity. Focus on making sure that you're going to get everything that you intend. So it's not a goal of I want a Lamborghini. It's the intent of wanting more, being more, and feeling a rush every time you sit behind the wheel. And the rest of that image will now fade back in. And okay, now it makes sense that it's this kind of car or that kind of car. But before then, it's a sensation, it's a feeling. And if you don't allow yourself into that feeling, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. So here, contact info back in the chat for anybody that might have been coming in a little bit late. And what I want to do is make sure that anybody who's, hold on a sec. There we go. So if we're going to be looking at a different way to set an intention, we've talked about writing it, journaling it. We're talking about giving a safe place. We talked about places that you can go and put them up into. We talked about overcoming those common challenges, staying consistent, not overthinking it, not making them too complex, focus on simplicity. And then we have to balance those internal and external intentions. So internally, I intend to feel happier and better, and I'm open to better digestion, and I'm open to more energy and better sleep. Externally, I am open to the opportunities that the universe can provide for me. I'm open to new friendships, new relationships, new adventures, and balancing those two, internal and external intentions. So guided visualizations, walk through setting an intention on a specific day is a good idea. Little journaling prompts, what does living intentionally mean to me? And you can play that game, role play, have some fun, have someone else, shifting their day by refraining their intentions. So you can change what you want, and that'll change what you just got and change the way that you look at what you're about to get. And that's where it's important that you come from that. So I'll give you an example. For me, years ago, I'd said, okay, I wasn't quite clear on intention, but I wanted to try anyway. And so I wrote down on a piece of paper, like back in the day, if you're old enough, you'll know what I mean. You get a detention, you get in trouble back in school, you got to do lines, either on the blackboard or on a piece of paper. And so you write out one sentence, and then the rest of that page, or however many pages you're in trouble for, you fill out with the rest of that. And so I'd taken that bad negative thing that I'd gotten in many, many detentions for, and turned a positive over it to go, okay, well, let's reinforce then. So I would write down, I make $10 million a year. And just wrote that out over and over again. And every morning I'd wake up and I'd take a fresh, clean piece of paper and I'd write that. And I'd write it happily, and I'd write it intently, and I'd write it powerfully and energetically. And it made me feel great. That 5 minutes of focusing on that. And all of my thoughts for the whole day would focus on, is that in alignment with my intention to making $10 million? And sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't. But I can tell you that that's not an intention. That was a goal. So I'm using the wrong, like a hammer, trying to screw this in. It's not going to work. I need a screwdriver. We're close. It's a tool. Yay, you're close. Wrong tool. And so over a course of, I think, about a year, I have so many stacks of paper that at one point I'm spending more money on paper to just fill out with this and then to hold it. And so I had this giant mountain of pages of paper that say, I will make $10 million. And when I understood that it wasn't the right mechanism and it wasn't the right way to go, and this isn't the way to go about doing it, I felt free. And I allowed myself cleansing, purging exercise. So what I did was took it, huge bonfire in the backyard, sat back with a brandy, and thought about, this is a beautiful feeling. It's an empowerment feeling, like going for a job interview only to turn that job interview down. You have no intention of taking that job, but it empowers you feeling, hey, I just turned down a 40, 60, 80, $190 million job. Like whatever the numbers are, it doesn't matter. You're bigger than that, clearly, because you turned it down. So know that you can come from that place where you're so close. And maybe that's why you hadn't had luck setting intentions before. Maybe that's where some of the troubles had come in for you. And so in that context, that's where we really wanted to make sure that of all the areas, all the places that we could probably make the biggest impact, where are we going to notice it? We're going to notice it in intention. You're going to notice it because it's the ability for you to talk about why. And when you're changing your why, you're going to be changing a lot more than just that. So in this context, let me put in here a little extra note. We'll put it on the ticker. And if you had something you wanted to share, by all means, here, I'll put this in the chat. There we go. Okay, so you've got access to me there on the bottom. Very, very happy to be here with everybody. And I wanted to see if, while we're focusing and engaged, where can we come from a place of intention setting that is exciting and interesting to us? That isn't just like, goals. I hate goals. I hate writing out goals. I hate visualizing them. It's boring. I don't like it. Let's find a way to not make it that way. Let's find a way to really, really focus it. Let's see if there's an actionable way for you to start saying, I don't care if you got to write them down. What if there was a way to set your intention that made sense for you? Maybe you need to take some time for yourself, put yourself in that space, close off all distractions, and think about how you're going to set your intention, your why behind your actions. I invite you to take that opportunity this week. Find some time for yourself. You'd be surprised how little it takes. 5-10 minutes of focused quiet. It's very meditative. It's very cathartic. It's very beneficial to your health, mentally and physically. Now, if you'd like to chat, you've got my contact information in here. And there we go. And we'd love to see. Oh, let me put this in as well for you. So this is our wonderful Frequency of Abundance group. And there's a small paid community that we have for people that want to do a deeper dive, for the people that want to interact with others, who want to go on some of the trainings and adventures, do some of the group calls, get some one-on-one time, look over past trainings. There's an entire repertoire and repository of incredible talks and events and leadership roundtable series and so much more. So I invite you, come join us in the free group. If it makes sense, come join us on the small paid group. It's a very private community there. And in that context, put yourself out there. Change your intention. Next time, we're going to be talking about some intensity, and we will get to productivity and energy. So thank you so much for joining us. I am Natan Verhofsky, and I welcome you to this Frequency of Abundance. I welcome you to Thriving Thursdays. It's going to be so much fun when you change your intention and come join us in this Frequency of Abundance. Thank you so much.